Hello and welcome to the first of several videos explaining DesignScript and teaching you how to program in it. After you've installed DesignScript to your copy of AutoCAD 2013, you should have the DesignScript editor window on the left side of the AutoCAD window. If it doesn't appear, type the command editor into the AutoCAD command and the window will open. Similarly, you should have a blank text file in front of you, but if not, then press the New Script button or hit Control-N, which will bring up a blank page to begin writing scripts. So, DesignScript files are collections of commands, and we can write a simple command that prints quote by simply writing print and quote less is more. When you run this script by pressing this triangle button in the top of the DesignScript editor, less is more will appear in the output console window. So print is a function, and functions can take a variety of arguments, such as strings, which are pieces of text contained inside quotation marks, or numbers. So if we rerun this script with a number, we can see that it prints 2, 3, 4, 5. Note that the actual formatting, say, of this command doesn't matter. In other words, white space, which are the kind of not textual elements of your script, don't actually matter. So if I kind of distort this script right here, it'll actually run just like the original script did. You can see that the output is still less is more despite this slightly different format. Naturally, formatting should be chosen to lend a clarity to your code, but that's not a requirement. So DesignScript, like many other languages, has the concept of a comment. Comments are pieces of code that inform the reader of the code but don't actually change the execution. So to make a single line comment, use the // operator, and to make a multi-line comment, use the /* operator. And terminate a multi-line comment with the */ command. So again, we can see that these comments actually have no impact on the execution of the code. They don't actually change the output, which is less is more. Related to this notion of adding additional documentation to code to help give it clarity is the concept of a variable. Variables are means to store information in your code for reuse and, again, code legibility. So we can declare a variable by writing a word, here, quote, which can be any series of letters or numbers. We can say this quote is going to be less is more. Next, in print, we'll change less is more to print quote. And when we run this, again, we can see nothing has changed, but essentially the quote is being stored into this variable called quote, and print is then quoting the contents of this variable. Print isn't quoting QUOTE, it's printing, again, the contents. If we enclose this with parentheses or quotation marks, we can see that it's printing QUOTE. But if we remove that, it's printing the contents of the variable itself. So quotes are useful because, or variables rather, are useful in that they can reuse an element of text or information many times without having to retype it in. So here, we'll repeat the quote 3 times without having actually specify less is more, less is more, less is more. This is particularly useful because after the fact, if we want to change our quote, all we have to do is update this one quote here. We might say less is more, a similar quote by a different architect, and we rerun that, less is or is repeated 3 times. So that's all for the first video. Stay tuned for more.